Good morning, Ms. Madrid. So thank you for meeting with me this morning to discuss feedback from the most recent observation. I want to start our time out together with some kudos. So I saw that based upon the rubric that we discussed, one thing that I paid attention to, the first thing was your use of technology in implementing the objective and the agenda in your presentation, so that the presentation of the instruction was very fluid. You were able to go directly into the instruction. So that was something that I did notice, so kudos for you for doing that. So what is needed for students to know exactly what they're supposed to do in class, regardless of the focus? So what are they supposed to do as relates to routines, or what they're supposed to do as relates to an activity or an assessment? What should they be given at that time?
Clear what to do.
Clear what to do.
Clear what to do.
Okay.
And of course, implementing the high five.
Okay.
As well, depending on the activity, but definitely a clear what to do. So if we're getting into groups, I would say giving it in pieces, and then maybe having a student go back and explain what exactly we're doing.
Great. That's a wonderful answer. Now, next question. Do you find that students ask clarifying questions before or during a lesson related to the manner in which they are completing the activity?
It's throughout.
Mm-hmm.
It's throughout. It really depends on the class. So in the second block, it's throughout.
Okay. Okay. And that was the block that I was there for. Yes. Okay. And next thing, and that's considered second block. So with knowing that, do you plan in advance what you want them to do, like in your head, or do you write it down how you want kids to do what you aspire them to do? Do you plan ahead and script it out, or do you think about it in detail?
I think about it in detail. That's the class with my ACEs. I mean, with children, you never know. But with the ACEs, it's just such a wide variety. So I know what I want them to accomplish and how I want that to look, but I know that's not always the case.
Okay.
Especially with questions.
So, what things do you consider in when you are crafting those directions?
I consider who they sit around. I also consider just their learning styles, and how often they're in school. That's usually.
So that points towards the academic part, right? What about in dealing with routine? So if they have to transition from a whole group to a smaller group, do you think about, okay, how is it that I want them to get to this point, or how am I going to select students to move to a certain place? Do I know what place that I want students to go? Do you plan in that type of detail?
Yes,
okay, and in planning that and how it comes across, do you find that in that particular class that it comes across and that they understand emphatically what they're supposed to do?
Not always.
Not
and
always.
That's based on my instructions. So just making sure that I give better instructions.
Okay.
And then, like I said, what I did not do was have a student reiterate what exactly we were supposed to be doing, and I should have done that. And
Okay.
it would have been clear for all the kids, and yeah, it would have been
Very good. Okay. So, you know that is a very good strategy to use in having students to repeat what you want them to do, and in order for them to do that, making sure that you're first giving them those specific detailed directions so that they can repeat it to get it across to everybody. Okay, so just want to point back to a situation from second block that occurred really when you gave them directions to move to their groups, and I saw where you went around and you gave them specific numbers to go to, specific numbers which symbolized the group that they would go to, and so you made that clear. But there was a moment when students didn't know when to move, they didn't know how to move, what they needed, and things, it was a jam. And then there's a lot of time that had passed as well. So, do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what did you think about that at that time, or reflecting about it?
That I should have taken, it would have taken less time to go over everything that I expected, as opposed to giving them instructions and then them gathering their things and giving them additional instructions. So just in the beginning, that a full explanation would have been better, because they would have known the expectations, and there would have been less questions, and it wouldn't have wasted as much time if I had done that.
Based upon the observation, we're going to focus on scripting and communicating clear, actionable, and sequential what to do directions. And for all the reasons that you stated, because in doing that, it communicates exactly what you want students to do, and then it also lends more time towards instruction and less time with confusion and ambiguity. Okay, so you will write that down. Focus on scripting and communicating clear, actionable, and sequential what to do direction. So if you would call that back to me for just to check for your understanding.
Okay. Focus on scripting and communicating clear, actionable, sequential what to do.
Great. In a moment, we're going to dive into a practice and involve you in scripting and transforming example directions that I pulled from second block, just to make it a little relevant. And you will practice transforming it, but also communicating it. So you want to script it as some directions have been placed on the board. So you'll go through, and we can go through together and figure out how we will make those directions more detailed, and then you'll practice communicating that. Get up and move to your groups. So, if you say this, what will happen? Think about second block. What would they do?
They would get up. There would be a lot of talking. If I hadn't indicated where I wanted them to be, they would be all over the place. They would want to stay, some would want to stay where they already are, and then there would be discussion on where they should sit.
Mm-hmm. So considering all of that and understanding who second block is, this is what we need, how we need to craft the direction so that none of those things happen. Okay? So let's work on that. Yep. So read that, please.
You will have 10 seconds to get in the groups assigned. Group 1 will be at the top left. Group 2 will be at the bottom right. Group 3 will be at the top. Group 3 will be in the center. Group 4 will be at the top right. Before you transition to your groups, get one sheet of notebook paper and a writing utensil. You will have 10 seconds.
This is the student service interruption. Kiara Malone, please report to the main office. Kiara Malone, please report to the main office.
You will have 10 seconds to move to your location at a level 0. Are there any questions? So answer any questions and then ask, Aaliyah, can you tell us what we will be doing in the next 10 seconds?
Okay, and she repeats with fidelity, and then what do you say?
Go.
Go. Yep. Exactly right. Now, what does this do?
It sets the expectation. That way, if the expectation isn't met, I can address it.
Right.
As opposed to getting frustrated when it's not met and I didn't give them those clear directions in the first place.
Exactly right. Very good with doing this. Now, I want you to tell me.
You will have 10 seconds to get in the groups assigned. Group 1 will be at the top left. Group 2 will be at the Okay.
So that's
Group 1.
there. Bottom right.
Bottom right.
Mm-hmm.
Group 1 will be at the top left. Group 2 will be at the bottom right. Group 3 will be here in the center. And group 4 will be at the top right. Before you transition to your groups, you need to get out one sheet of notebook paper and a writing utensil. You will have 10 seconds to move from where you are to your location at a level 0. Are there any questions? Mr. Davis, can you tell us what we'll be doing in the next 10 seconds?
So we're going to get in groups. We're going to have 10 seconds to do that. And our numbers are on our paper, so that's going to let us know what place we need to go to. And we need to have a sheet of paper and a pencil as we go to that group.
Okay, and what level are we transitioning to our group?
Oh, we're going to be on a level 0.
Thank you. Go.
Okay. So tell me, how does that feel?
It's a lot of words, but like I said, saying this beforehand would waste less time in that transition.
Right. And see, the words are going in the front end and it's moving to a place of a high expectation instead of using more words to correct. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So you're using the words wisely and you're using them at the right time and in the right way instead of having to correct someone or say, no, that's not what I said, or things are going away, that's not what I wanted to happen. You see what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So, and doing it in the front end with that type of specificity, if someone is at a level 1, then what happens then? You're able to call them out on that. But you set that expectation for them. After you've crafted this wonderful what to do, what comes next? The delivery. Let's practice. All right. So I am a student and I'm in my group. There are 3 other people here. Okay.
For 1 minute, you will work with the person across from you. As a pair, you will work out the problem assigned on separate papers at a level 1. After that minute, you will join with the other 2 members of your group for 1 minute to discuss the solution. You need to make sure that you ensure that all of your group members understand how to get the correct answer. We will then call on 1 member from your group, any member of your group, to come to the board to work the problem out for 2 minutes. As this member completes the problem, everyone else will be at a level 0. You are not to assist the person at the board, and they are not to bring any resources to the board with them, with the exception of vocabulary.
Great job. And I'll be here next week, Monday, to see the implementation of it.